We spend our lives in pursuit of success. Often that means we're looking towards some big goal or accomplishment or end result. And while outcomes are important, the process of success is equally important because life is lived daily. It's not enough to succeed only when we achieve significant things. It's important that we enjoy success throughout our journey. I'm going to share 4 thoughts about success that will help you see success as something that can be attainable throughout life. The first thought is that success has stages. Success for me began as survival. Surviving was the goal for a season. Surviving abuse, surviving the emotional pain as I went through a divorce, surviving losing custody of my 4-year-old son. It took me being successful at surviving for me to be able to get my feet back under me. I graduated from survival into struggle, and that was a big step up. I don't know if you've ever gone through a season of survival, but it's a huge accomplishment, and it was a huge relief to just live in struggle. Once I was successful at struggle, I graduated to stable. I began taking more steps forward than I was backward. And once I was stable, success began to appear in different areas. My name wasn't in lights, but it didn't need to be. My heart wasn't broken anymore. My mind could think again. I was back at work again. My finances improved. My relationships improved. And today, success is in helping others change their story, regardless of what stage they are in. It's really easy to be negative about our survival stages and our struggle stages, but without those stages, I wouldn't be where I am now. They were stages of success. If you're not satisfied with where you're at right now, remember, it's just a stage. The second thought is that it's up to us to define success. And it's easy to start down a path in pursuit of success and not take the time to define what success means to us. We can get the degree or the ticket, or we can get our sign on our building or our name on our business card and still feel unsatisfied. Why? Because we never define success for ourselves. It's knowing what result we want out of our actions. It's identifying the quality of life we desire and the way we want to spend our time in life that allows us to recognize and then be able to celebrate success. Regardless of what stage you're in, I encourage you to have a written definition of success. The third thought is that our definition of success has to be attainable. There was a time in my career where I began working for a nonprofit, and I stepped into an office that was out of order. The accountant I was replacing had checked out long before I was hired, and it showed. I'm a perfectionist and a high achiever, and when I couldn't put it all together by the end of the first week, I felt like I was failing. I began to work harder, I stayed later, but I continued to fail daily in my own mind. And it wasn't my performance that was the problem. It was my definition of success. I determined that my goal, no matter how long it took me to get things in order, would be to leave my office in peace at the end of the day. I could control that. And by doing so, I was able to be successful almost every single day if I wanted to. What does success look like in the season you're in? Make sure your definition of success is attainable. The last thought is that success is about becoming the person who can produce the success you desire. Sometimes we see success as a result of starting over. We fail at something and we start over, and then we realize success and we credit success with starting over. Starting over in a new marriage, starting over in a new career, starting over in a new business venture. But I don't think we actually start over at all. We don't get it wrong the first time and get it right the second time. We actually just become the person who can produce the level of success we desire. For example, if I decided today that I wanted to run a marathon, I would have to become the person who can run a marathon mentally, physically, and emotionally. If I signed up for a marathon tomorrow, I would fail, and starting over wouldn't help. But if I become the person who can run a marathon mentally, physically, emotionally, then I'll run a marathon. In order for me to move from survival to struggle, as I talked about at the beginning, I had to become that person. I had to become a struggling person instead of just a surviving person. And in order to go from struggling to stable, I had to become a stable person. In order to go from stable to success, I had to become the person who was productive and fruitful. And in every stage, I was becoming someone different on the inside. And as a result, success was showing up differently on the outside. Because success actually happens in us before it happens around us. And we become the person who can do and be what's necessary to experience the success we desire. I'm not who I was, and probably neither are you. I'm still growing, I'm still maturing, I'm still becoming who I am, and so are you. And as we do, we experience greater levels of success. The success you desire in your future means becoming the person who can experience that result. Who do you need to become to enjoy the success you desire? Regardless of which stage you're in right now, success is possible.